welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a tag video, which I'm very excited to do. I've always seen people do these videos and have wanted to do them, so here we are. So today we're going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I have the questions here on my phone, and I'm super nervous to do this tag because I haven't read very many books this year, unfortunately. Because the first part of the year was when I was in college and it was really stressful trying to read. I read nothing during those semesters. So I only started reading again in May, or maybe this month was when I started reading again. I don't know. But we're going to work with what we have. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2019. This took a little bit of time to figure out because I've read a few great books this year, or this month, for being technical. So I decided to go with Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This book absolutely blew me away. I remember when it was actually published and everyone on BookTube, it seemed, was posting about it in book hauls and everyone was reading it, and I heard a lot of great things about it, but I was nervous to pick it up because I didn't think I would like it. But I decided to pick it up early this month, and I fell in love with the story. So if you don't know what Scythe is about, Scythe is a story created by Neal Shusterman, which is actually a utopian world, which is incredible. I've never really read any utopian stories before, so this was definitely a first. I have read a few dystopian stories, but utopian is way different. The story, Scythe, follows a girl named Citra who becomes a Scythe's apprentice. A little bit of background: the world essentially is different than ours. It takes place in the future where technology has actually become a huge forefront, and technology has taken over of pretty much everything. Now, when everybody talks about artificial intelligence in today's world, people are hesitant about it and they don't really like it. What I found was interesting with the world of Scythe is artificial intelligence is actually a good thing. It makes the world a better place in the book, which is really spectacular and awesome to read about. They have this artificial intelligence called the Thunderhead who takes care of everything so humans can live easier. And one of the amazing things about the world is death has actually been conquered. No one dies anymore from natural causes or illnesses or anything. Like, there's no death. You don't even die of old age, which is fascinating in my opinion. Unfortunately, because the world could only sustain a certain amount of the population, the Thunderhead had to come up with a way to actually take care of that problem. Since death was no longer a thing, now there are Scythes, and Scythes' jobs are to glean people, and glean is another word for kill, basically. So they take care of the population, but the cool thing is that the odds of you being gleaned are pretty low in your first few decades of life. So people are able to grow older and they can turn back time and make themselves younger, even though they may be 200 years old, which is insane. That would be so cool to do in real life. And so basically, Citra and another boy named Rowan have been chosen as Scythe's apprentices, which means that they are in training to become Scythes, and if they pass their tests at the end of their training, they get to become a full-fledged Scythe themselves. So this is honestly such an entertaining story. I absolutely fell in love with it, and I'm so surprised I took forever to read it. It just didn't seem like it was a story that I would have liked. I usually read fantasy, but, sci-fi, dystopian, utopian type of things aren't really something I have a lot of experience with reading, and so I was very nervous to start it. But like I said, I fell in love with the story, I loved it, and I highly, highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't, because I recommend it to everyone now. Just saying, you should read it. The next question is best sequel you've read so far in 2019. So I didn't really want to do repeats in this tag, but unfortunately it's going to happen just because like I said, have not read very many books yet this year. My favorite sequel I've read this year is actually Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This is the sequel to Scythe, and it was just as amazing as Scythe was. Unfortunately, something people see a lot when reading sequels to books is the second book in a series usually does not perform very well, and it's not as well written as the first. I've seen that with a lot of series, unfortunately, but Thunderhead actually was incredible and blew me away. It kept my attention just as much as Scythe had, and I was surprised. I highly recommend you jump on the bandwagon and you read Scythe and Thunderhead if you haven't already. Next question is new release you haven't read yet. This took me a little time to think about because there are several new releases that I'm interested in that I would really like to read, but I settled on We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I messed that up. But anyway, this story sounds really, really interesting. Also, it's great because it's written by a Muslim author, and I personally have not read very many books by Muslim authors. Actually, I can't even think of one Muslim author I've read a book by, so I'm super excited to read this author's work. I've heard so many great things about it, and I really want to see what the story's about. I don't know very much what the story is about. I just know it's about a girl who is a hunter and she's going on some kind of quest, meets a guy, right? Yeah. And I guess there's some romance in there, they fall in love, something like that. So that alone is just enough to make me want to read this book. It is also going to be a series. I don't know how many books there's going to be. There's only 2 listed as of right now. The next one comes out in 2020. But yeah, I'm super excited to read it. I'm actually planning on reading it later this month if I can get to it. That's my plan. Hopefully I do, because I really am excited to check it out. If you've read We Hunt the Flame, let me know. Tell me if you liked it, because I've heard so many great things, and honestly, I haven't seen one negative review, so I'm interested. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This was a hard question to figure out. I could not decide between 2 different books, so I have 2 as my answer. The first one is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. Like I said earlier on, I absolutely adored Scythe and Thunderhead, so The Toll is the conclusion to that trilogy. I am super excited for this to come out. I believe it comes out in November. Yes, it comes out November 5th. So, of course, as soon as it comes out, I will try my best to get a hold of it because I really, really want to read it. And the second book I would like to mention is Becoming the Dark Prince by Kerri Maniscalco. One of my absolute favorite books ever is Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I absolutely cannot wait to continue on with that series. I am reading the second book in the series next month, and the third one the following month, and then the fourth one as soon as it comes out, which is Capturing the Devil. I guess technically I have 3 answers for this. I didn't even think about that. So, I'm highly anticipating Capturing the Devil by Kerri Maniscalco, which comes out in September? Yes, September. Capturing the Devil is the finale to Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and I'm super excited to get to it in September, but also I'm really excited for Becoming the Dark Prince, which is actually a novella following the main male character in the series, Thomas Cresswell. If you didn't know, my channel name is actually named after the 2 main characters in this series, so I clearly love it, even though I haven't continued the series yet, but I'm getting there slowly. Becoming the Dark Prince, the novella, actually comes out on the 15th of July, but since I haven't continued the rest of the series, I'll probably have to wait to read that, but I'm highly anticipating it. The next question is, what was your biggest disappointment? Please do not hate me. I was so worried to actually put this in because I know so many people adore this book, and it is a good book. It just wasn't for me personally. That book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I went into this book thinking I would love it. I loved the idea of it. I loved the premise. And I had heard countless times that it was such a good story, and honestly, it is. It kind of fell short for me. And I feel like that's kind of my fault because typically I do not read books that have been super hyped. Because I know once I read a book that everybody's been crazy about lately, typically I don't end up enjoying it because I have higher expectations than I should. So that's kind of what happened with Red, White, and Royal Blue. Yes, I absolutely, I really liked the characters. I enjoyed the premise of the story. It was great. For me, I didn't think the writing was as good as I wanted it to be. Basically, when I read it, I absolutely loved the beginning of the story. The first third of the book was incredible. I kept wanting to read it and continue, and I honestly did not want to put the book down. But the middle part for me, the middle just kind of dragged, and I felt kind of bored in the middle, and I'm not sure why. It wasn't entertaining. And then the ending, I liked the ending pretty well. I think it was pretty good, but the middle for me just didn't cut it. Also, again, this is probably my fault. When I heard that it was a love story between the son of the President of the United States and the Prince of England, I was like, well, Prince of Wales. I was super, super excited because I thought, that sounds amazing. But I'm not one that knows a lot about political terms. I'm not an expert on politics by any means. I know enough to get by, I guess. I really need to research it more, I suppose. But I couldn't get past all of that. It was different than I expected. I feel like some of the characters in the story weren't as well rounded as they should have been. I feel like some of them kind of fell flat, which I was really upset about. For one, Henry's character, I didn't think there was enough personality of his shown. I felt that the author could have done a lot more with that. Again, it was a good book. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. I didn't love it. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Of course, I do recommend it to people, though. If you are interested in the type of story, you might really enjoy it. I know a lot of people do. I 100% get that. So I do recommend the story, even if it wasn't the best, in my opinion. But anyway, there it is. Next is biggest surprise. The biggest surprise for me was Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. I love superheroes when it comes to movies and TV shows and things like that, but I haven't really picked up books based on superheroes, so I was kind of nervous going into this because I didn't know what to expect. For one, I don't know much about Wonder Woman. I haven't seen the entire Wonder Woman movie yet. Mainly, I watch a lot of the Marvel movies. Those are my favorite. So going into this book, I was really nervous, and I, of course, have never read anything by Leigh Bardugo before. Shocker. I know, I haven't. So I was really nervous going into it, but I ended up actually loving the story. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and yeah, it was just incredible. I do highly recommend it if you enjoy action books, superheroes, stuff like that. One thing you should know, though, it is perfectly okay if you know nothing about Wonder Woman going into this book. I knew nothing, and it did not change the story for me. It did not make anything hard to follow. I loved how Leigh Bardugo really explained things and explained her background and things like that, because someone like me who knows nothing about her, it would have been a struggle to read had I not, had all of the details in this book that there were. So, again, I really, really love this book. It is on my favorites shelf on Goodreads, actually. I loved it. I do want to continue the series. The series was written by different authors. I think the next one is Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. I've never read anything by Marie Lu either, so I'm a little nervous. But hopefully it's just as good as this one. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend this. The next question is new favorite author. It can either be a debut or it can be a new author to you. So here I have two. The first one is Leigh Bardugo because, like I said, I highly enjoyed Wonder Woman and it blew me away. I absolutely loved the writing, so I cannot wait to read more from Leigh Bardugo, which hopefully I will be able to do in the next few months. And then the second new favorite author is Neal Shusterman because, like I said earlier, again, I absolutely loved Scythe and Thunderhead, and so I can't wait to see more of what Neal Shusterman writes. I think he might be one of my new auto-buy authors, which is pretty cool. Honestly, this book, or the book series Scythe, was genius. That's all I can really say to describe it was genius. So I can't wait to hear what else he decides to write. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. Newest fictional crush. For this, I thought long and hard, but I would have to choose Rowan from Scythe. Rowan was such an interesting character to me because his development throughout not only the first book, Scythe, but his development on into Thunderhead was amazing. The next question is newest favorite character. For this one, I also have two. The first one is Citra from Scythe. I loved Citra. I loved her character development in the story as well. I feel like if she existed in real life, we would get along really well and we'd be probably good friends. But I loved seeing her transition from this kind of unsure, like, in a way, timid girl, and then switching to where she was more confident and not really afraid of much. Does that make sense? I don't know. If you guys have read the book, you understand what I'm saying, but yeah, I just loved Citra's character as well. And then the second new favorite character is Diana from Wonder Woman Warbringer. Diana is Wonder Woman, and I just loved her personality, and I think she was just a pretty cool character overall. Next is book that made you cry. This one's a hard one because I don't really cry in books at all. Is that weird? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't really have an answer for this. I guess if I had to say anything, it would be both Scythe and Thunderhead, like I've mentioned many times in this video. There were definitely some moments in both of those books that I was upset over what happened, because there were definitely some plot twists that I didn't expect, but I didn't actually cry from those. I don't know, for some reason, reading a book, I have a hard time with actually crying. It just doesn't happen often. We're almost done. Next is a book that made you happy. I could have easily repeated a book I've already said. I could have said Scythe or Thunderhead or Wonder Woman because I loved all of those and I had such a great time reading it, and they definitely did make me happy. But I decided to go with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is the third or fourth time I've actually read this book, and I absolutely love it. I feel like it keeps getting better every time. I feel like most people have definitely read the Harry Potter series, but if you haven't, I highly recommend you do. I know that there's one person, I watch his videos every now and then, but his channel is Peter Likes Books, and he, for a long time, said he wasn't interested in Harry Potter. I think he tried it for a short time and didn't enjoy it, and then he picked it up so much later, and he actually absolutely loves Harry Potter now. So I'm just saying, give it a try. Even if you've tried it before and you didn't like it, you might like it this time. Anyway, yeah, this is the third or fourth time I've read this book, and I absolutely adore it. Next question is the most beautiful book you've bought or received. The most beautiful one I have collected this year has been These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. The last question is going to be a little long, but it says, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? I have several books. The first one is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. That is the second book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. The next book I need to read is Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I don't own the second book, but I'm hoping to get it soon. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, this is the third book, and I can't wait to get to this one as well. I believe people have said this is their favorite in the series, so I'm really excited to get to it and see what it's about. And I have 3 more books to mention. The first one is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the third and final book in the Scythe series, and it comes out in November, so I'm super, super excited to get to it and see what happens, because Thunderhead left off on a cliffhanger, and I really want to know what the heck is going on. I have to know. And then also I want to read Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. This is the second book in the DC Icons series. I read Wonder Woman and loved it, so the second book is Batman Nightwalker, and I'm excited to see if I'll like this one or not. I'm nervous. I don't know. And then the last book I have to mention, this is one that tons of people have hyped up and talked about. So that's what I've been waiting some time for the hype to die down before I begin reading it. But that book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Everybody has been obsessing over this book as well as Daisy Jones and the Six, so I definitely need to read both of them at some point. And that is the end of the tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel to catch all the other videos I post. Every Monday I post a video like this where I'm standing in front of my bookshelf and talking to you about some random topic I come up with every week. And then every Thursday I post a weekly reading vlog. So if you enjoy reading vlogs, check them out. They are kind of lengthy, but it's fine. They're good, I guess. I hope they're good. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.